business or whatever, you get some people who go, trust me. And when they do that, it's like, you don't need to say that to trust them if you never
It's a
mind.
big red flag. You know, why are you saying that? An honest person wouldn't need to say, honestly, trust me. You know, if you, that's for me, if I hear that statement in business, you know, someone's trying to sell me something, they say, oh yeah, trust me, it'll be the best Hoover you ever buy. I'm thinking, oh, that sounds a bit dodgy.
Okay, and this is a really interesting point, and I'd love it if I've not seen anyone do this, but there's a big thing in comedy of joke thievery. And I'd love to see, maybe, I think you would get lots of views on it if you did a video where you looked at Carlos Mencia and Amy Schumer, because they're very popular comedians, and they're comedians that have been known for joke thievery.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to show you a few clips and see what you think of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So here's one of them.
Look, what I'm saying though is that we live in an age now where what I'm saying.
So the guy who is Carlos Mencia is the guy in the bottom right, and he's basically, he's been well known for bumping people off, like if they were on, because he's a big name back then, and he used to steal people's jokes and perform them right in front of them.
Thing though is that we live in an age now where going to individual people isn't going to fix the problem. The problem is...
I don't care about that. That's not what I care about.
What do you care about?
I want to meet these fucking people so that I can look them in the eye and say, dude, I'm sorry, or fuck, I remember that joke. Let me think about where I created that joke. Holy fuck, I don't remember.
Well, have you done that?
Yes. And every single person I call says no. I'm ready to apologize to the people, to the people that I did this to, right? Mm-hmm. To the people that I did this to. But like I said, you're accusing me of rape. Don't tell me I raped a bunch of chicks and don't have any chicks to tell me that I'm raping them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
And then I'll show you a few others on him, because there's quite a few.
Look, what I'm saying though is that we live in an...
You've seen me. You personally have seen me write 20 minutes of new shit on stage in one show.
I have seen that, but I have also seen some of your act, you know what I mean, a little too close to things that have already been established, like the Bill Cosby bit.
Yeah, I've never seen that one, so...
I know. My point though is that it's so similar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that why not just outwardly say, I apologize, and then we could just move on from it rather than you constantly defending.
But it's not that I'm defending. See, again, it's not that.
But the thing that is putting you in comedy prison is just the essence of the stealing. That's the real root of
stealing is such a huge deal for me. It's like rape.
But I know. But
no. Listen to me.
Yeah.
You need to understand this.
Yeah.
And I've never said this to anybody.
Okay.
I'll show one more clip, and I just want to go from there. So this one.
I see high levels of fear and anxiety and eyes closing. Doesn't like it. Not happy at all. Excuse me.
I'll show you one more clip, but what do you say so far from what you said?
That second clip was quite revealing. The first one, he was defensive. It was very obvious he was very defensive. That second clip, you see a lot of this, and lip licking, that's a sign of nervousness or anxiety. And he also does an eye close like that, which is too long for a blink. It's closing out something he doesn't want to see and hear. People, when they close their eyes for longer than a normal blink, they don't want to they don't like it, don't hear it, don't want to see it. He's very defensive. There's no question he's defensive. And I'd have to watch it in more detail, but he looked guilty.
I'll show one more.
You've seen me. You personally have seen.
So one thing that makes me a bit icky about it is that he's putting too much effort in to defend himself. Whilst if you're really not like that, you don't need to, I feel.
Yeah, totally agree.
And this is one more.
There's no virtue. Grab you by your fucking neck and slam you against lap back and wall for
Yeah, he did. He did. Yes, he did.
Oh, this is very loud. Sorry.
Yes, he did. But it wasn't for ripping out that fucking joke. That's not why. Because, you know what? You want me to I'll tell you what George Lopez did since you want to hear it. George Lopez actually said on Howard Stern that he doesn't want any other Hispanic comedian to make it except for him. So that's where that shit comes from.
That's a funny thing to say. That's what a comic would say.
No, he says that because he's like everybody else. They're jealous because
you fat fuck.
Okay, so I mean, it was very loud and shouty. I'm not too sure if you got a lot from that.
The other chap, I don't know what the other chap's name is, but his body language is very different. Can you see? He was just very. I would imagine, I can't see his feet obviously, but feet planted firmly on the ground, very steadfast and very determined in what he was saying. Whereas I can't remember his name. Sorry, what was his name?
Oh, it's Mencia.
He was very defensive. His body language, he's moving all over the place. He's uncomfortable. He's not comfortable. He's not feet firmly on the ground. He's actually does the shoulder blocking. He's trying to block him with his shoulder quite a few times. Doesn't want to hear it, push him away. Whereas the other chap, the difference in their body language was quite marked. And if I was going to trust one, it'd be the other chap.
So it's a bit like, I've been caught now, and please hide me away.
Yeah, very much so. And guilty, definitely guilty. You know, someone who's honest and truthful doesn't need to be like that. And all that, you know, I don't know if that's what he does normally, but all that movement is very, you know, it reminds you of someone dodging and weaving. And that's what it comes out is, but you could say that. You could say he looks like he's dodging and weaving, and that's exactly what he was doing. And what do you dodge and weave from? Because you don't want to get into trouble because you're guilty.
And if it was an honest person, I think they would be like, you can accuse me what? I know I didn't, and just leave it and just be like, they would open arms and be like, so what?
Yeah, open body language. The other chat was, there wasn't, although he was intense, it was a very strong posture, feet firmly planted on the ground, and there was strength in his body language.
Could it be that he's been so defensive because he doesn't want to face up to the truth?
Yeah, possibly.
It really hurt him to see what he's done.
People who are a bit sneaky and do things that they know they probably shouldn't, you can't hide it from yourself because you know, don't you? And it will come out in your body language and your energy. And I think that come out very clearly, particularly in that third one. That dodging and weaving body language is what's going on in his mind. You know, the mind-body link, I've already said, is so intertwined. What we're thinking comes out in our body language. It's innate within us.
Do you think also maybe something that people could do to pick up body language is play a character, you know, like I did just there, that represents that, and then see what it looks like, and then maybe guess that in terms of the person they're dealing with?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good way of doing it, actually, getting into the character. And then, you know, that's what I say to people. If you see something on a face and you don't know what it means, pull that face yourself. And how do you then feel? So if you want to get into the character of a dodgy whatever, I mean, look what I just did with my body language. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's all there in it. Dodging and weaving. Think about the character, and then the body language will follow. If you think about it too hard and try too hard, it doesn't work. But that's one way of, like, what were they up to? What were they doing? And mimic. So like I just did with him, you know, he was doing this all the time. How do I feel? I feel like I'm being a bit dodgy. There you go. That's probably what's going on.
Okay. There's one other thing that I want to look at, and it's going to be a performance clip. So it's going to be one of someone else doing a joke, and then she's doing a joke that's very similar. Okay. So what I saw from her is that there's less movement and less belief in the joke, but let me see what you think. So let's see here.
Colors. It dawned on me that I don't see it in colors. In high school, I went out with this Chinese girl for a while once. I didn't even know she was Chinese. I thought, I don't know, maybe really tired, you know? No, seriously, I felt bad. I kept bringing her home early every night. I said, you get a little sleep, we'll do this again another time. I'm not going anywhere.
I couldn't be less racist, I mean it. I was at a party 2 weeks ago in LA. And who walks in but Michelle Kwan? And out of nowhere, she tells me that Oliver Stone, you know, the director, she's like, he has this huge Asian fetish, and I find it totally offensive. I'm like, why, Kwan? That sounds awesome, you know? And she's like, well, I'm offended because I'm Asian. And I was just like, well, I'm sorry, but I didn't even notice that. I thought you were just like really tired.
Was What do you think of that?
So I used to do lots of presentations in my research business where we go and take the finding to clients. Now, I would always like to write the presentation, because if somebody else wrote it, I was I always felt uncomfortable because it wasn't my words and it wasn't it's hard to present somebody else's work. And that's what you see with her. It's not natural because she's presenting somebody else's work. When it comes, and her timing wasn't quite right either. It just didn't feel right. So after the first presentation I did and somebody else had wrote it, I'd be like, I can't do this. I need to make it mine so that when I present it, it's me talking. It's not the other person talking. And that's what I think was happening there. It wasn't her talking.
So it's when you're doing a speech, you do most of it, but you get someone to top it up a bit rather than the other way.
No, I'm talking about when my research business, I had someone who would write up the report for us, and they would write in a very different style as how I would present, and I couldn't present their work because it just didn't feel right. So when you're presenting somebody else's work, it generally comes across a bit wooden and not quite right. The timing's never quite right. So it's always better if you've got your own original material, because it'll come out so much more naturally and be more engaging.
It dawned on me that I don't see it in colors.
The joke was a bit questionable, being an Asian man, but it's one of the things I could find.
Yes. Her timing was off.
Completely. It felt like she was rehearsing for a play or something.
And that's what, when somebody else writes a presentation for me, so that this is the research project we did, and this is all the findings, and okay, thank you. And I'm not stealing their work. They've given it me to present for them. It doesn't quite work because it's their words and not mine. So I had to then go make it my report so that I could present it in me, because that's genuinely, this is what I took from the report. This is what and then you go and present it in a much more believable, honest way.
Okay. I'm going to show one more example, and it'll be enough of the clips.
Okay.
Poltergeist is good. Well, you need your friend though, right? Like you're fucking him from behind, and then you sneak out and he takes your place, and then you walk outside and wave at her through the window. And then you go, I'm here.
The worst one I've ever heard is the Houdini, which is where the guy's having sex with the girl from behind. Then unbeknownst to her, his friend subs in for him. Guy number one runs outside, knocks on the window, waves to the girl.
So, is that the same sort of thing?
Yeah, it's just not funny when she does it. It was funny when he said it because it came very naturally. But it just wasn't funny because it sounded rehearsed. She wasn't fully in that character telling that story. It sounded like she was putting it on.
So I think we've found the results there.
Yes.
I would love to see like a detailed sort of breakdown, like a YouTube video on those two things, because a lot of comments are always on that.